It's time now for Uncancelled. And this is where the world's top commentators speak out on controversial issues without the fear of the cancel culture sweeping most of the rest of the media. As he hemorrhages support in the UK, Prince Harry has denied distastefully boasting about killing 25 Taliban while serving as a soldier during a cringeworthy appearance with the left-wing American comedian Stephen Colbert last night. Watch.
Context is everything, and unfortunately, due to those leaks, the British press intentionally chose to strip away all the context and take out individual segments of my life. Without doubt, the most dangerous lie that they have told is that I somehow boasted about the number of people that I killed in Afghanistan.
Hang on a minute, Harry. Here's what you actually said and wrote.
In the heat and fog of combat, I didn't think of those 25 as people. You can't kill people if you think of them as people. They were chess pieces removed from the board. I could always say precisely how many enemy combatants I'd killed, and I felt it vital never to shy away from that number. So, my number, 25.
Former British Army Colonel Richard Kemp has warned that the revelation could provoke the Taliban to carry out attacks against the UK. But tone-deaf Harry seems to forget he's now living in a country that respects veterans and their usual preference for discretion more than any other. And one person who also grew up in the glare of the public spotlight but seems to have coped with it a hell of a lot better than Harry is top Republican commentator and MyDailyMail.com colleague Meghan McCain, whose own father, John McCain, famously spent over 5 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Meghan, so great to have you here tonight. So it's not just the military community in the US that seems furious with Harry. Do you think he's starting to lose America now with all of this?
Oh, yes. I mean, his media appearances this past week have been a complete and total spectacle. I mean, not to be vulgar and disgusting with you, but I now know that he's circumcised. These are not things that, a grown adult man with 2 kids should be revealing on television and in a book. And even when you see people like the New York Times, places like CNN coming out and criticizing him, you know that the tables have turned. You can see the approval ratings in the UK. I'm sure that they are mirrored here as well. A lot of people who were big advocates of Meghan and Harry's have been really silent recently. People like Oprah, people like Gayle King, just not coming out and supporting them the way they do. And I think part of it is just this, the egregious revelations, obviously the disgusting way that he's treating his family. But I think these comments about the military, I don't think he understands the way it's going over here in our country as well. As you mentioned, my dad was a veteran, but every person in my family serves in the military except me. I'm actually the black sheep because of it. My brother Jimmy enlisted in the Marines when he was 16. You have to be 18 to join the Marines without parental signing. My parents signed for him to deploy to Iraq and Afghanistan. I honestly can't remember the amount of deployments between all my family members, and that includes my in-laws. Revealing your kill count is something that is just not done. It is not done publicly. It is something that is done privately, possibly with your fellow soldiers, maybe after a lot of drinks or maybe on the battlefield, but it just isn't something that's done. Even people like the American sniper, Chris Kyle, it's not something that he bragged about. The person who came out and revealed that he shot bin Laden, it was highly criticized within the Navy SEAL community at the time because, again, it's a team effort. It's something that happens with a group of people, with soldiers, with people on the battlefield. And then to go on Stephen Colbert and sort of say that people like you and I work for British media now, that we are misrepresenting or unhearing. I read and I just heard exactly what I needed to know. You are bragging about killing people on the battlefield, which is just not something that is done in our country among regular military circles.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that is most astonishing, right? So he's now not even prepared to stand by his own words in his own autobiography. He's trying to blame us. He's trying to blame the British press. We know he doesn't believe in freedom of the press. But I found this particularly despicable. When you look at the military commentators, though, Meghan, who have spoken about how much extra threat level this is now going to bring to his own family and actually the British public too, it doesn't matter to them whether he was bragging about it or not. It's just the simple, plain fact that he has revealed the number. So he's being disingenuous anyway. It's not the fact that the British press is saying he's bragging. It's the fact that Harry has gone on the record and said, I killed 25 members of the Taliban. That is what has increased the threat level.
Yeah, and then comparing them to chess pieces, which, again, I don't pretend to understand the things you have to do to go to war. I myself have never served. But I just found it distasteful and obviously dangerous. And again, I just think of my brothers who are around his age and have done many deployments. And again, I'm not in the military. I'm not judging the experience, but there's just there is no universe on planet Earth where my brothers would be going on TV talking about their kill count. It's just not something that's done. And then you see him backtracking on many other things, including saying that he doesn't believe that the royal family is racist. I spent episodes and episodes of the show I used to be on discussing the racism that was alleged within the royal family, accused on the Oprah interview with him and Meghan Markle. I don't know what he's talking about. At the time, the intention of that was to hurt your family and to hurt the United Kingdom and to make it seem like it is a monarchy full of racists. And for him to backtrack now is confusing. I also find it confusing why they won't give up their royal titles, and also why they're still possibly flirting with the idea of going to the coronation. Americans are people that don't completely understand nor have the kind of respect for the monarchy that obviously the British population does. But we do understand family and we do understand loyalty, and trashing your family for the highest dollar and going on any TV network you can and saying deeply personal things. And again, this is just one side of the story. And one of the things I just kept thinking about is, William lost his mother too. William went through all of these things too. And there was a point in time in my life where I really, just didn't have a lot of interest in the royal family. And I'm telling you, myself and many people in this country understand that it is extremely important for our countries to maintain the kind of political and global alliance that we have. And this could really hurt that. And that is why I don't forgive this, because I actually think there are real life geopolitical ramifications. William's going to be king someday. That is a very important role globally. And we need to respect him no matter what kind of fighting was done when they were children at Eton. Quite frankly, I don't care.
I know. And it's his own brother who is trying to discredit the future king of England. It's extraordinary. He's trying to paint him as some sort of bullying lout. And that isn't the William that I believe exists anyway. So I think he's trying to actually incorrectly put that portrayal out there. But look, you speak about family, Meghan, and of course you do come from one of the most famous political families in the US. I imagine there were loads of times that you probably had back and forth behind the scenes and disagreed with your father or your mum, but you would never have thought about selling them out in a book for millions of dollars, would you?
I have 6 brothers and sisters. My dad was married twice. I come from a blended family. As anybody has any family, people fight, things happen. My brothers have gotten in fist fights before, but I love my family and we are incredibly loyal to each other. There is absolutely nothing in the world that could ever get me to betray my family. And I think it's the level of betrayal at the level that it's at. And I think when you see, people like Stephen Colbert, who's a very liberal comedian, conducting these sort of puff interviews, at the same time, there are a lot of people and a lot of average Americans who feel like our country is sort of being used in a way, in this pawn with Harry in a way to disparage the United Kingdom and to disparage the monarchy. And I'm grossed out by it. And I know a lot of people are as well. And I think there's a lot of politicians that they admire. And I want to go back to the Obamas, which I spoke about on your show before, who are staying very quiet. Yeah. They are not publicly supporting this. We understand how important our relationship is with your country and our relationship is with the monarchy.
Exactly.
And the Queen who has since passed is, excuse me. Yes, go ahead.
And no, I'm just going to say this has gone too far now. But look, you've written a brilliant column about this, which I really recommend people check out at thedailymail.com. Meghan McCain, so great to speak to you. If we don't talk beforehand, good luck with the pregnancy, Meghan. You couldn't tell there, but she's very close to her due date.